way to do it. Well, good afternoon, Rattler Nation. Welcome into another episode of the Arizona Rattlers Coaches Show with head coach Kevin Guy. My name is Floyd Simmons. Good afternoon, everybody. And there he is. There's the coach right there. And Coach Guy, welcome in. How are things going?
Good. We got to refresh a little bit during the bye week, and certainly the coaches spent that time breaking down film and trying to get ready for our next upcoming opponent, and really doing some self-scouting and looking at ourselves and seeing what we can get better at and correct and improve on as we try to advance in the playoffs here.
Well, Coach, we're going to dive into the discussion on what's up next as the first round of the 2022 IFL playoffs do kick off this weekend. But before I do that, I have to ask you, with that week off, that time off, was there an opportunity for Coach Guy and the family for you to get some recreation? Did you get some time off?
I did, but my time off is different than what I would think other people think time off is. Usually when I go somewhere with the family, my computers, my phones, everything comes with me because wherever I get, whenever I arrive, wherever I'm going, I usually find some downtime and get some work done, so we went up to Sedona for a few days and just tried to get out of the heat. I don't know if we got out of the heat. It was still hot. It was still hot up there, but I enjoyed the, getting in the water a little bit. And I went and got a couple of massages. I went and found me a great chiropractor up there. I'm gonna see if I can move him down here. He's great, but I like to go and explore and see what, if I can learn anything new. But, I did. I went up there and they say that those mountains, those red mountains, you got some healing in it. And, my back was hurting like crazy. And, I came back. I feel great now. So maybe there's something to it.
All right. Well, that's there's a lot of Sedona folks that are giving you the thumbs up for that right now, for sure. And glad you got at least a little bit of time to decompress, Coach, because now you've got the second season. The big playoff run begins this coming Sunday afternoon for the Arizona Rattlers. You get a chance for a fourth time this season to take on the Duke City Gladiators, and it has been a successful 3 times against them. As a matter of fact, the Rattlers have never lost to Duke City in the short rivalry that has existed, but they have certainly pushed your team to the wall a couple of times, and they've got enough talent to make it very interesting this Sunday in the first round of the playoffs. So let's jump into it. The Arizona Rattlers get the number 1 seed, and I begin right there. The number 1 seed in the Western Conference. Coach, how big was that? What did that mean to you and the team? You got that victory against Vegas to close out the regular season, and that assured you of that top seed. Was that something that you that had to be at the top of your list of priorities to accomplish as you closed out the regular season?
Well, one thing we do here is we set goals, and then as we reach those goals, we try to set new goals. And when we put goals out there for the players to reach or our employees to reach, we want them to be realistic goals. I don't want to put it so high that that we can never get there. But if we are going to fail, we like to fail high. And so we set, goals, and as we reach them, we set new ones. Your comment about, beating them 3 times this year and they've never beaten us before, that is all true. But that only, that just tells me that they're due, so we got to make sure that we do everything in our power to show up with our A game and come out and perform and execute and do all the little things to advance, in the playoffs. They certainly got great players over there. They have taken us, last year in the semifinals, they took us down to the last play of the game. So, they're a group that, I don't know if we got the best draw being the number 1 seed. I don't know if we got the best draw playing the 4th seed because Duke City's playing some really good football right now, and they're capable of beating anybody in this league.
Well, you got that first seed by virtue of a strong finish at the end of the season. Down the stretch, the Rattlers looked, from our vantage point, like they were playing great football. Were you happy with the last couple of weeks of the year?
I was. because we had to win out to get the number one seed. We controlled our own destiny, and we knew we were going to see Naz again. And we were able to manage that game and take care of that game. And there's no two games alike, and it's hard enough to beat a team one time, much less two times, much less three times. But now we got to play them a fourth time. Now I'm going into this game very positive, because I feel good about my locker room. I feel good about the players in that locker room. I feel good about my coaching staff and the employees that we have here at the Arizona Rattlers, our support staff. And, I know this organization wants to win. And everybody here has great work ethic or they wouldn't be here. And, that's our goal. Our goal is to win the championship. So everybody worked their tails off to get that number one seed. Now it means nothing if we do nothing with it. So we need to make sure that we protect our house and take care of the opposing teams that come in here. And if we understand that it's really about us and not about anybody else but us, then I like our chances. When you start listening to the noise, that can affect you. And so, we're blocking out the noise. We're dialed into us and what we got to do to get better and improve in the areas that we need to improve. And if we do that, then I like our chances to advance.
Well, the Duke City Gladiators, your opponent this coming Sunday in the first round of the playoffs, the 4th seed. Duke City finished strong. They got a win over Northern Arizona this past weekend. Now, there is some personnel changing going on with Duke City, and it looks like a pretty critical piece of their attack will not be available to them on Sunday, if I understand about Dello Davis correctly. That may be something you want to address or talk about or discuss. Maybe you don't. I don't know, Coach, but I do know this. Duke City beat Northern Arizona, and Northern Arizona is a great football team. So this Gladiator team has got to have a ton of confidence coming in against the Rattlers.
Well, I think they do. They're 2-0 without Dello Davis the last two games. So, they released him. I don't know what happened. It's none of my business. I don't care. I know he's a tremendous talent. Him not being on the field would normally make me feel really good going into a game. But when you look at those other three receivers they picked up Washington, out there at the X receiver. And, they got Dent and Elmore. They call him the mayor or the captain or whatever they call him over there. I just know the guy's a pro. And, you watch him, every time that we've played them, the young man just stands out because he's got great character. He makes plays on the field. He plays hard. He's been a tremendous, asset to this league, having a great player like that in this league for so many years. And then their quarterback that after Nate Davis went down the first game of the season against us, this young man Atkinson has came in and just really played lights out and has been an outstanding quarterback. So I would advise them to lock him down, because if he goes free agent, there's going to be a lot of teams that are going to be interested in him, because he has shown some talent and certainly the capability to win. So, listen, our work is not going to get any easier. They got a little young man that plays running back there that is very fast. And, he also causes some matchup issues. So we got to work cut out for us. And, you are fighting human nature. Okay. Mindset. It's just human nature. It's just average mindset to think, hey, we've already beat them 3 times. We're just going to show up and beat them again. That's not the case. These guys have gotten better. We've gotten better. Both teams have gotten better. I like our chances if we show up and play our A game. Anything less, and we can be beat. And we got to be on our game. Attention to detail. We can't turn the ball over. You look at our season, the 3 games that we lost. We either turned the ball over, or one game defensively we just didn't show up. That was against Tucson earlier in the year down in Tucson. But you look at our wins. All our wins are double digits. Double digits. And so it just goes to show you, when we show up with our A game, we can get some separation. But if we don't, then we're going to be in for a fight for 60 minutes.
Well, you talked about that Duke City quarterback, Ramon Atkins. Yeah, since coming into the season, filling in, and having to take over. He has been stellar. He leads the league in touchdown passes completed, 50 touchdowns. He's number 2 in the league in passing yardage behind your quarterback, behind Drew Powell, who I want to talk about in a moment with respect to his throwing the football. But it seems to me that the real key matchup here, you mentioned matchups, Duke City's passing attack. It is at the top of the league, near the top of the league. It's absolutely terrific against your defensive backfield, which is also in its own right second to none. I think that as just a fan coming in, that's the matchup I'm looking at. Their passing attack, your defensive backfield. Who do you think wins that matchup on Sunday afternoon?
I believe in our guys here. I mean, we got to go out and play, but listen, that's a very talented receiving corps, and they do an outstanding job of how they move them around and use them and creating matchups. So we got to work it out for us. We're going to have to get some pressure, on that quarterback and not let him, get comfortable. We need to make him, get comfortable being uncomfortable is what we need to do. And so hopefully we come out and I don't care who the quarterback is. It's hard to sit back and throw the ball if you got pressure in your face. So we need to be able to pressure them up front, pressure them in the back. And it should be a great, game. Duke City is totally capable of winning the championship. They got all the pieces that you need to do it. And, it's, we got to show up and be ready to play.
Well, one of the keys to being ready to play, would be a quarterback. Drew Powell, the reigning most valuable player in the indoor football league. I looked through the numbers just as you talk about stats. If you were to talk about statistics being a key measurement of who would be considered the MVP this year, 2022, hard not to put him at or near the top of the running for MVP once again. So he is going to figure into that discussion. No question about it in my mind. Drew's had a great year. He leads the league in passing. He is near the league lead in rushing once again. Coach, coming into the year, there was all of this discussion by other teams in the league, other media personalities in the league, talking about making Drew throw the football, and that would give them some sort of advantage. I think Drew Powell and the Arizona Rattlers' usage of Drew Powell here in 2022 has flipped that narrative on its ear. I think that if I had Drew as my quarterback, I would be equally as comfortable having him run the ball or throw the ball. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I'd like to tell you that it's all play calling, but it's not.
I love it.
Drew is he's an outstanding talent. He's a very dynamic runner, and but he could throw the ball as good as any quarterback in this league. And the people that say that, I don't get where they're coming from with that, because I broke them down after we played Vegas, and normally we like for our quarterback to be between the 65 and 70% range, in passing. And I believe we were 66, 67% on the night, against Vegas. And that's with a couple of drops too. So it would have been much higher if receivers do their job and catch the ball. But I take it a step further. It's just not how did you do on the night. It's, how did you do against man coverage? How did you do against zone coverage? How did you do against being blitzed? I break all that stuff down and get the numbers so that I know what we need to work at in practice. And, and what's interesting is when I broke him down watching the film and all of those categories, he came out around that 66, 67% completion percentage against all of them, so it doesn't matter what look you give him. He tends to, find out. Now, I think some people think that because they see him stand there sometimes and nobody's open, and, and he waits and waits and waits, and he's waiting on somebody to get open, and he takes off running. Well, that's not on Drew. Receivers need to get open, okay? So we need to do a better job of running routes. It says something about our protection. We're able to protect up front. But Drew's a tremendous talent. He can make all the throws. and he can certainly hurt you with your feet. So I dare anybody to come up and play a 5-man box on us and leave us one-on-one down the field. We're looking forward to it because I heard those same whispers last year, and that's something that we worked on all year. And if you look at his numbers right now, he won the MVP last year. Okay, if you look at his passing numbers right now, they are better than what they were last year. So, come on, bring it. We'd love to see whatever looks you're going to throw at us. Everybody, I mean, people's put 5 in the box. They've dropped defensive ends out in the coverage. They've done about everything. We've seen about everything that you can throw at this young man. And you know what? His numbers are still at the top of the league. So, Drew's a winner. He's been a great leader, and especially, he can be a passionate guy, and when he controls his emotions, he's very, very tough, and he's dialed in. He's very, very tough to beat.
And he certainly seems like he's been doing that at an even better level lately, controlling those emotions, playing with maturity, and being the leader you need on the field, Coach. Okay. So you take on the Duke City Gladiators this Sunday afternoon. That's a 3:05 kickoff, Rattler Nation. Don't miss it. Get on out to the Footprint Center, the Snake Pit, for the first round of the playoffs. So that's your open for the playoffs. In Northern Arizona, the number 2 seed in the Western Conference will take on the Tucson Sugar Skulls to open the playoffs this weekend. And then on the other side of the bracket in the Eastern Conference, Frisco versus Iowa. And the defending champions, Massachusetts, takes on the Quad City team, Quad Cities. Coach, do you want to mention a thing or two about any of those matchups and talk about the playoffs here in the IFL as we get it underway?
Well, I think that Tucson Naz game is going to be interesting. They split in regular season, I believe. I mean, well, they played 3 times. I think Naz won twice, Tucson won once. But one of the games that Tucson lost to them, their quarterback was at the Colts at the time. Indianapolis Colts had brought their quarterback in, so I really don't count that one. The other games when they played, they split. So that one could go either way. We'll have to see. I mean, Naz has had a tremendous, defense. When I look at playoffs, I look at teams that, who's their quarterback, what kind of run game do they have, and how are they playing defense and special teams. And then, that's how I kind of make my picks every week. When I go through my picks, I kind of look at those categories, and I do quite well when I make those picks too, when I look at it that way. So, but I think Tucson and Naz is going to be a tough matchup. Certainly, my wife will be up there Saturday to watch the game. I'm staying home. I'll just watch it from the TV because I got my own game I got to get ready for on Sunday. So I'm not going to be driving all over the state and tiring myself out. When you look at the other side, that one's going to be interesting. Frisco has won like 6 games this year by a touchdown or less, and they're sitting at the number 1 seed over there. And they were getting beat 28-7 at one point against Sioux Falls, and you got to take your hat off to them. They found a way to come back and win that game, but they've certainly been flirting with disaster. And when you look at that, I think when you get in the playoffs, it's a whole new season. Anything could happen, and everybody kind of turns it up a notch. And all of a sudden, those fumbles and those interceptions and blown assignments, all of a sudden they're under the microscope a little. It comes out being magnified a little more than usual, right? So because most coaches tend to try to slow things down during the playoffs, and let's speed it up, let's crank it up, man, and let's see what happens. But you look at it, and Iowa's having an amazing year this year, and they're playing Frisco, so be interested to see how that one matches up. Quad City's got to go out to Massachusetts. I'm gonna go with Mass on that one just because. Quad City's certainly got a lot of talent, and they're capable. You just don't know which team you're going to see when they show up and what level they're going to play at. But flying out to Massachusetts and then taking that ride out to that little town they play in, that's a grind, man. That's a grind.
Takes a little bit out of you, doesn't it? Is there anybody in that whole group, anybody that's left now to enter the playoffs that you don't want to see, that you don't want to have to face?
Well, my thought on that and I hear you. I hear people say that all the time, make that comment, but uh, I want to see them all. Bring them this way because at the end of the day, you can't call yourself champions if you can't beat them. So it doesn't matter who we play. We're going to have to go through them at some point. I remember when we were back in the Arena League, we had some battles going on between Arizona and Tucson. And, there was like, I don't know, 3-4 years that we knocked them out, in a row. And some of those years we drew them first round. And, the games were so physical that we would just limp into the next round, and we would just have to gut it out. And then we get the championship game, have a bye, we got a chance to heal up, and then we'd go win the championship. So, but when one year we got San Jose in the semifinals, and we pulled it out late in the game, and now we limped into the bye week, So, but we managed to figure out, there's a different kind of physicality when you get to the playoffs, and everybody's game should rise, go up a little bit. You don't want to play outside yourself, but you definitely got to up your game.
Well, Coach, week in and week out in the IFL, a lot of transactions, a lot of personnel changes among the teams in the league. I think the Rattlers are about as consistent as anybody week to week when it comes to the roster and who you see out on the field. But we are in the playoffs now, and Rattler Nation is going to want to know. Everybody's going to want to know: is there anything that we can expect to see different on Sunday? Any names, faces, personnel changes that we ought to be aware of, or that you're willing to share with us as we get ready for first round of the playoffs?
Yeah. I doubt I'll give out the game plan here, but what I want to see change, and not even change. I just want to see Rattler Nation get louder. Okay, they're already loud. They're loud.
They're very loud.
It's playoff time, so they got to raise their game too. And we need some energy in that building that our players can feed off of. And we don't take anybody for granted this time of year. We got to show up and produce and do our jobs. And if we do that, then we're in the right mindset. I like our chances. We got to make sure we do all the little things well, attention to detail. And we had our first practice today of the week, and I kind of broke the week up this week. Normally we would practice 3 straight days, have meetings the day before the game, and then go play. But I decided to go ahead and practice today, and then tomorrow we'll just bring them in, watch film, and lift weights. And I didn't want to go 3 straight days with this kind of heat. The desert, baby. The desert's part of being an Arizona Rattler. But I want to give our guys a chance to recover, and then we'll go back out and practice Thursday, Friday, and then go into the game. So hopefully managing the schedule that way is going to give us a little bit of a spark going into the game.
All right, Coach. A big playoff weekend begins for you on Sunday. Other games being played on Saturday to open up the first round of the playoffs in the IFL for 2022. I'll give you the final word on anything you might want to throw out there. Already the challenge is out there to Rattler Nation to show up, not just show up, but make an even bigger resounding sound, in that arena on Sunday. So there's a challenge. But Coach, a final word for you.
Make a difference. Make a difference. Whatever your role is, you got to do your job. Whether you're the fan or the owner or the coach or the player, it don't matter. Okay, everybody's got a job to do. We got to bring it. So, visiting teams tend to bring their A game when they come to our building because they're not playing in front of a crowd like that wherever they're coming from. So that tends to get their energy up sometimes. So it makes us even have to play even more in depth there. But we're excited. We're excited about the opportunity, and I'm excited about this locker room. I really like the guys in this locker room. I like our leadership. I've liked their attitudes all year long. We got some characters in this locker room. We got some jokesters, but when it's time to lights come on, our guys show up, and now it's time to go. It's time of the year we got to go finish. There's no more. There's no tomorrow. So you gotta. No one's going to give it to you, right? You got to go take it, and that's got to be our mindset. You got to go take it. Nobody is going to give you anything in this world. I'm not just talking football. That's anything. Your mindset's got to be you got to go take it. And if you want to be a champion, then we got to lay it on the line, and we got to go play our A game.
And no matter what, Coach, no matter what, the road to Vegas in the Western Conference goes through the desert, doesn't it?
Western Conference. goes to the desert. So it looks like we're, no matter what happens, we're going to be in the desert the rest of the way. So even in Vegas, you're in the desert. So, we'd like to be the first. It's the first year of the neutral site. We'd like to be the first to get there for sure. And but we got to work it out for us. We're not overlooking Duke City. They got some players. We put a lot of extra time into watching them and coming up with some game plans on them this week. Hopefully it pays off. But at the same time, you got to be careful about that because you don't want to give your players too much to think about either, right? You want them playing, not thinking. So, you want them playing fast. So thinking can slow you down sometimes. So, we want to make sure that there's a fine line there on what we're doing.
Well, Coach, we cannot wait for the opening of the playoffs this Sunday afternoon. Your team, the Rattlers, get to open with Duke City. Good luck. Have a great rest of your week. We'll see you on Sunday, okay?
Thank you, Floyd. See you there.
You got it. Head coach Kevin Guy right there. Folks, the first round of the playoffs for the Arizona Rattlers, the number 1 seed in the Western Conference, kicks off this Sunday afternoon, 3:05 p.m. against Duke City. Downtown Phoenix at the Footprint Center. That's the Snake Pit. Come on out. Join us. Get your tickets now. If not, look for the broadcast on the IFL's YouTube channel and on Cox Your View, Channel 4, across the Valley of the Sun. Until next time, for Coach Guy, I'm Floyd Simmons. Have a great weekend, folks. Bring your A game as a fan to the Footprint Center this coming Sunday afternoon, and we'll see you there. Until then, so long, everybody.
Our guys figured out a way to do it.